This is Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog, coming to another edition of MLB Observations. So this is Week 8 of the 2022 season, so let's get out to the Giants. Why are you wasting DH spot on Tommy La Stella? Because then the likes of Darren Ruff, who's a first baseman by trade, should be DHing, is in the outfield. And then Thairo Estrada, a super utility infielder, is also in the outfield because he's the replacement for Mauricio Dubon in the outfield. Makes no sense. I know I'm saying Stella's not an outfielder, but wasting DH spot on him is silly. When you also bat Ruff towards the top of the lineup, Brandon Crawford and Thairo Estrada bat 5th or 6th where they don't belong. And then Kirk Casale, who's a backup catcher, has no business DHing or also wasting a spot and batting 3rd. The Reds. I'm a huge Nick Senzel fan. Having him bat leadoff because of his speed and contact ability makes sense. Never bat him 3rd, and there should be no need for laying him center field if you have Albert Almora Jr. What does Albert Almora Jr. bring to the table more than anything else? Great defense. I don't want to see him in right field or left field and Senzel still in center. Kyle Farmer, he's a catcher by trade. Stop playing shortstop. Stop having him bat the middle line of 3rd or 5th. And Tyler Stevenson was just a backup catcher last year. Again, do not waste a DH spot on a guy like him or this Lopez dude who's a young, inexperienced infielder. And Stevenson should also not be back in the middle lineup. You got Moustakas, Joey Votto, Aquino, and Colin Moran. Like, those are guys that you bat in the middle lineup. And Brandon Drury, I'm a huge fan of his, but he's not a great second baseman. He's a corner infielder by trade. Orioles. Trey Mancini is the best player on your team. I don't care what you say about Cedric Mullins or Mountcastle. Trey Mancini's a heart of this team. He's a perfect 3 or 4 hitter, not a second hitter. And Hayes, I'm glad he's playing every day. He beat out DJ Stewart for playing time. But again, he is not a middle order hitter. Second or leadoff is fine by me. The Red Sox. Rafael Devers drives in way too many runs, hits too many home runs to be a number 2 hitter. Because then you get the likes of Verdugo batting 4th or 5th. Frenchie Cordero, Jackie Bradley Jr. batting in the 5 and 6 spots. That's not where they belong. Okay? Frenchie's got speed. Arroyo's a utility player. Jackie Bradley Jr. can't hit. And again, Arroyo is their de facto 4th outfielder. The Red Sox don't believe in having a 4th outfielder. But again, having him play right field is stretch. I would have shifted Verdugo to right field and have Arroyo play left field. First base is also silly when you have plenty of guys on the team who could play first base. You don't need to have the shortstop play it. Same thing with Frenchie. I know with Travis Shaw gone, he's the next guy up, but like, come on. Again, I'm wasting DH spot on him when you have JD Martinez and all these other sluggers. And then Jackie Bradley Jr., we know his best defensive value is playing center field, not right field. Kike Hernandez is not a center fielder. Bobby Delback, batting him last, we've been over this in the past, is not the spot you put a good power-hitting guy. Frenchie led off once, that was great. Phillies, Rhys Hoskins, Alec Bohm, Kyle Schwarber. They're not 1 or 2 hitters, they're middle-of-the-order power hitters. That's why you got Schwarber to hit a bunch of home runs. That's why Rhys Hoskins is there. Gene Segura then is batting like 5th or 6th. And Duber Rivera's batting 6th or 7th. And it's like, both those guys have been successful leadoff hitters, not middle-of-the-order hitters, they're bottom-of-the-order hitters. And then throwing a Duber Rivera in right field is kind of a stretch because he doesn't have the world's greatest arm. Segura batting 2nd made sense because he's done that a lot in his career. Mets. I'm a huge Jeff McNeil Squirrel fan, but he's not a number 3 through 5 hitter. He's best suited batting 2nd, 8th, or 9th. Again, wasted DH spot on him. I know they sent down Dominic Smith, but like, you can DH so many other guys. Okay? And when they had Dominic Smith, him batting 8 was a waste because he's a good offensive player. And Guillorme, he's a great backup infielder, but batting him 3rd, he did bat leadoff or 2nd before, so that's kind of where you want to put him. And then the last but not least, they have this Plummer guy up. He's battled his way up to the major leagues. Okay? If you can't play Brandon Nimmo in center field, I don't want to see a first baseman of Mark Canha playing center field. Because if it doesn't remember, in spring training, they were deciding, well, Nimmo and Marte are kind of battling some injuries. Who's going to play center? But if Marte plays center, they would put Canha in right field, and they would then put Nimmo in left field. Cooler heads prevailed, and Nimmo has been the center fielder, Marte's been in right field, and Canha's been in left. So what happened to that where they were thinking about playing Marte in center field? Wouldn't you think you want to play Marte in center field if you can't play Brandon Nimmo? That's where I'm just like, I don't understand, what they're thinking there. The Yankees. We want Aaron Judge, not a leadoff hitter, or number 2 hitter, nor is Rizzo. Okay? DJ LeMayo, because they don't have a real leadoff hitter, the dude makes enough contact and won a batting title, that him batting leadoff is the only other guy you could realistically put there. But again, he's not a number 3 hitter, nor a 5 hitter, nor is he a first baseman. But again, between him and Duar, Josh Donaldson, Gleyber Torres, Isaiah Falefa, there's not enough at-bats to go around it. Because if you do, you throw Judge in the outfield. I mean, if you throw Stain in the outfield with Judge and Gallo, That leaves Judge playing center field, and he is not a center fielder. He's a good athletic guy, but that's not where he's best suited. And Duar then gets stuck playing left field because there's not room in the infield. Again, not an outfielder. Isaiah Carvalho is stuck playing shortstop when he's a catcher. Martin Gonzalez, they finally played him as shortstop in the infield instead of having him play the outfield. And then Matt Carpenter, I'm glad he's a Yankee, but he's not a leadoff hitter at this point in his career, man. He hasn't been a good hitter in a while, so wasting the leadoff spot on him is silly. Then Joey Gallo, I know he hasn't been as good as he was in Texas, but he's not a number 9 hitter. That's not where you bat. That's where you bet the catcher. Kevin Kiermaier has never been the world's greatest hitter, so why are you batting leadoff? Wander Franco's a rookie, so putting the stress on him and batting like third is not the best. And Randy Arozarena and Manny Margot, we've been over this. They're not 3 or 4 hitters. Margot leading off, cool. But again, Margot and him are not a DH. And Yandy Diaz is one of the only guys who can hit power for this team. Should not be batting him second. Beeks and Whistler are starting pitchers, and this team don't have enough actual starting pitchers to do the whole bullpen thing. And again, having Diaz, Choi batting 1 and 2 when they're the power hitters, that is just a waste, man. They should be middle of the lineup. Again, Wander Franco, second and third, not really the best spot. Harold Ramirez, a backup outfielder, is not a first baseman or a DH or a middle of the order hitter. And Brujon, with the injury to Brandon Lau, should be getting every opportunity to play second base. DH, Diaz, play Choi at first base. Put this Walls guy at third base. Or Brujon at third base and the other one at second. That makes the most sense. And at least once they had Choi and Diaz batting 3-4 where they belong. Marlins, Garrett Cooper and Jesus Aguilar are not 2 hitters. They're both first basemen who hit for power. Joey Wendell's a backup utility infielder, not a number 4 hitter. John Birdie and Anderson, again, infielders by trade, not throwing the outfield. At least with Birdie, he's the super utility guy. Anderson should be an everyday player. But got Rojas. At this point, I have to give up the fact that they're playing him every day shortstop instead of playing Jazz. But he's not a number 5 hitter. And this Luke Williams guy is an infielder by trade, but again, like Birdie, utility player, I guess so. Astadulo's become a super utility guy, even though he's a catcher, but second base is kind of a stretch. And then the Sanchez dude is a young, inexperienced outfielder. He should not be batting the middle of the lineup, bat him at the bottom. And then Jazz Chisholm leading off, that dude can lead the league in stolen bases. That makes the most sense. And one time they were smart. Where Soler and Avi Garcia, the 2 big free agent signings, and Aguilar batted in the 3 through 5 spots. I'm like, wow, they actually listened. Atlanta, Adam Duvall is not a center fielder, nor is he an outfielder by trade, so it's a waste. Contreras is a backup catcher. The DH spot should go to Ozuna or Acuna, man, or Rosario when he's healthy. Matt Olson should bat in cleanup, so it's better than him batting second. So 5th and 6th is fine, but he should be batting 3rd or 4th. So at least take him out of the 2 spot there, okay? And then Swanson Albies batting 1 and 2. That's fine if you think Swanson's a good enough hitter to bat leadoff. Good by me. Acuna, we own this. He's not a leadoff hitter. He's a middle of the order hitter. And Duvall, we've been talking about how much you want his offense in the lineup so he can screw up defensively in the outfield playing center field, but 8th is stupid. Now that they called up this Harris prospect, they finally come to sense this, and they put in Duvall in the corner spot, and DHing Ozuna makes the most sense. Albies batting 7th is a waste because he's not a power guy, and leading off is better than batting in the middle lineup, but still not his best spot. And Colin McHugh, again, wasting his innings as a relief pitcher. Royals. Whit Merrifield is a great utility player who could play every day. His best value is playing second base, third base, or maybe corner, but center field is a stretch. Leadoff's fine. Bobby Witt Jr. is a rookie. Batting him third is kind of silly when you have Santana, Dozier, and O'Hearn and all these other guys on this team. It's a little bit too much. And then speaking of Dozier, we know he's not an outfielder. Benintendi batting second is perfect. This Melendez dude, if he's like a backup, I don't know, guys, not should be batting 5th. Twins. Arise doesn't have a job at second base, so first base is a waste. I know you say, well, first base and DH are open, but right now, third base is open. Why aren't you, third base is not open every day with Urshela, but you should be giving opportunity to play all around the thing. Him batting leadoff is fine, but he's really number 2 hitter. But him playing second base once was a good thing. Correa, we know, is not a 2 hitter. You got him to bat a middle lineup. Polanco is not a 3 or 4 hitter. I think the most he can hit in a season is 20 home runs, not 30 or 40. Nick Gordon, been over this, not an outfielder by trade. He's a shortstop. Garlick is a first baseman by trade, not an outfielder. Nor is a leadoff hitter. And then they call it that Royce Lewis prospect. Played him in center field. Guess what? He got hurt. He got hurt, man. Stop playing infielders in the outfield. And this Miranda dude is listed as second baseman, but he's getting at bats at first base and third base. I think if you're going to give Urshela the day off, it's going to be Arise playing third base. Then Buxton again. He's been a leadoff hitter 98 to 99% of the time. Don't move him around. Keep him there. Don't bat him second. And Urshela's not a cleanup hitter. He's a good offensive player. He's become over the years, but he's not a middle order hitter. Gary Sanchez, you got to bat in the middle lineup. Then the Brewers. Tyrone Taylor's a backup outfielder. So batting him second was perfect. Now he's been on a little bit of a hot streak, but he's not a 3 through 5 hitter. You got plenty of guys who can do that, like Andrew McCutchen. He should not be leading off. Lorenzo Cain, if you're not going to bat him lead off, maybe you bat him 3 through 6. 7th and 8th kind of feel like a waste. And Keston here, I've been saying that he should be playing third base if he's not going to play second. But left field's a stretch. Cardinals. Paul Goldschmidt should not be batting second. He should be batting middle lineup. This Yepes dude, listed as an infielder, but you're playing him in the outfield. Like, what are you doing? You really want bad defensive outfield? And then him batting middle lineup over other guys is silly. Goldschmidt batting third finally did it. Donovan, he's listed as second baseman, so again, another infielder in the outfield. Lars Nootbaar could probably play center field, but I'd rather Dylan Carlson play center field, even though both of them are not the best options. Okay? And then Tommy Edman leading off is perfect. Donovan leading off, I really don't know if that's his game. Blue Jay, George Springer, we won't. It's not a leadoff hitter or center fielder. He's batting middle lineup, DH, and there's a DH spot open someday. Bichette's not a cleanup hitter. We've been over this. Espinal batting second, perfect. Speed contact guy. Toppy and Zimmer playing center field. Those are the natural positions. Great. Gurriel was batting cleanup some of this year. Why is he batting 8th? Espinal leading off. Bichette batting second. Perfect. Danny Jansen is your starting catcher. Not a DH. Nor is Alejandro Kirk a DH. Nor should be batting middle lineup or Tapia batting a DH. Springer, Guerrero, and Gurriel should probably get the most at-bats at DH. And then Biggio, I'm glad he's back up in the big leagues, but again, throwing an infielder in the outfield, having playing first base, I don't really know what you're trying to accomplish there. Angel, catcher Tyler Ward playing the outfield, again, silly. Not a leadoff hitter. Trout should not be batting second. Ohtani should not be batting second. Because what happens is Stassi was really a backup catcher, and Rengifo was a super utility young player who hasn't really figured it out as an everyday player, and Matt Duffy was a utility player batting middle lineup, when those two guys should be batting with Trout, Ohtani, Walsh, and Rendon, and then Ward. Those should be the middle of the lineup there. And then Rengifo leading off was a good spot for him, and Trout batted third one, which was pretty good. But again, I wrote this twice. Batting second is silly for Ohtani. Dodgers. The Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman batting 1 and 2 is a waste when they're both middle of the order hitters, but at least Betts has been a leadoff hitter. Trey Turner's been a leadoff hitter, not number 3 hitter. And then what happens is Will Smith bats cleanup. He's a good offensive catcher, but he's not a cleanup hitter, nor is he a DH. Bellinger's still playing center field, or Chris Taylor. One's a first baseman, one's a shortstop. When you have Kevin Pillar, at least one time Pillar plays center field. Gavin Lux, again, throwing an infield in the outfield when there's no point. And David Price switching out of the bullpen went to waste when he could be starting when they don't actually have 5 healthy guys right now. Then Pillar got hurt, unfortunately, so they don't have the real center fielder. Diamondbacks. Dalton Varsho is a catcher. So he and Hummel are not leadoff hitters. The best offensive value could be towards the end of the lineup there. They did DH and have Hummel play catcher once and Varsho DH, so at least they're doing that. And Ketel Marte is not a number 3 hitter or the DH. It's good that Rojas is no longer playing the outfield, but he can't. Not a 3 hitter. Not a second or 3 hitter. Like, it's just they don't know what they're doing there. Then having Rojas lead off, it's not the best spot for him. Pavin Smith, again, playing the outfield when he's a first baseman is already silly. Him batting second when he's a power hitter is silly. Like, you got Varsho, Christian Walker, Seth Beer, Pavin Smith, and David Peralta. Those guys should be batting 3 through 6. That's what makes the most sense there. Pittsburgh. Brian Reynolds, we've been over this, is not a center fielder by trade. You called up all these young outfielders after you've had Jake Marisnick and you've had Ben Gamble and you've had some other center fielder. Just take the opportunity, slide them over. Because again, Gamble gives you the best value as a good defensive outfielder, not a DH, not a number 4 hitter. Michael Chavis with an injury, he's playing a lot of first base. I'm glad not to see him at second base. Van Meter's playing a lot of first base, second base, and batting middle lineup. This dude is when you're a team that's desperate. You're not going anywhere, but you have all these young infielders now that with Tucker DFA'd, it's really stupid that you're giving chances to a guy like him. It's a waste. Keep Brian Hayes over this. He's not a 2 hitter or number leadoff hitter. He's batting 3rd or 5th. Will Crow's wasting time out of the bullpen. He should be a starter. And this Marcano's listed as second baseman, so why is he playing center field? Padres. Profar's not a leadoff hitter, nor a left fielder, and Manny Machado's a number 2 hitter, because then you get Cronenworth batting 5th this or 6th. I'm like, no, or 3rd. Him playing first base again is stupid when you have like 4 first basemen. And him playing shortstop is fine because that's the position he can play. Astros. Altuve's the perfect 2 hitter. Brantley's the perfect 3rd hitter. We've been over this. Because then, Jeremy Pena, the rookie, and Chaz McCormick are batting somewhere between 5 and 7. That's not where they belong. And why was Kyle Tucker batting second? That's really stupid. And Alvarez, again, is not an outfielder. Stop playing him in the outfield. He's not a good outfielder. Mariners. Ty France is not a 2 hitter. He's a power hitter. Adam Frazier is not a 6th hitter. He's a top of the order hitter. So I should not see him playing the outfield. Leading off is better than where he was, but he's perfect in the 2 spot. Rodriguez is a rookie. Should not be batting third. It's a lot of pressure. J.P. Crawford, excuse me, should not be batting fourth either. He's either top or bottom. Jesse Winker is a middle order hitter, not a leadoff hitter. Torrens the backup catcher. Why are you playing him at second base and you got Dylan Moore, okay, who also should not be playing the outfield? And Toro finally got to play some third base. And Haggerty played some second base. But then they screwed it up by throwing him in the outfield when he's second baseman. Ranger. We've been over. Marcus Semien and Kyle Seager got him bat at middle lineup. Not to bat 1 and 2. Jonah Heim is an inexperienced catcher. He's not a cleanup hitter. Calhoun's never been a cleanup hitter. And then have Abani as a super utility DHing is a waste of a DH. And then they lost a DH. And then you're wasting innings with Garrett Winters and Matt Moore. Like, they should use him as a starter because they don't have a lot of starting pitching. And they're not that great so far this year. And Semien playing shortstop, even though he's not good. A's. Laureano, batting leadoff or second's fine, but not batting third. Seth Brown, there's plenty of infielders for them to play first base. He should be playing the outfield, because then you throw in Pinder playing the outfield when he's a second baseman. Stupid. Bedlincourt, I'm glad he's in the big leagues again, but he and Andrus are not 4th and 5 hitters. Connor Joe, not a leadoff hitter or an outfielder. I'm glad he played some first base, but that's just not where he belongs. Blackman batting third, if he's not the leadoff hitter, is fine, but him batting second is stupid. Batting leadoff is where he has been most of his career. Randall Grichuk playing center field when there's like 3 center fielders on this team is silly. And he pitched in a blowout. Iglesias should not be batting 5th. He's never been a great hitter, nor is Brandon Rogers a cleanup hitter. Garrett Hampson playing center field when, again, there's enough outfielder. Nationals. Juan Soto is not a right fielder. We've been over this. He's not the world's greatest defensive outfielder, nor is he number 2 hitter. Nor is Keibart Ruiz, the rookie catcher, number 2 hitter. I did like seeing Cesar Hernandez and Lane Thomas batting 1 and 2. That makes sense. And then batting Soto third 1 or 2 times. And then Voth wasting him out of the bullpen. Indian. Owen Miller is a super utility player, not an everyday number 4 hitter. If you want to play him every day at second base because Yu Chang is gone and you want to play a Menace at shortstop and you want to play Rosario in the outfield, cool. But again, he's not an everyday hitter, nor should he be playing first base when Josh Naylor should be playing that. And he's not a cleanup hitter. That's why you got Framil Reyes. I did Clement. They stopped throwing him in the outfield once enough, twice to play him at actual third base. Jimenez actually plays some shortstop because they threw Rosario in the outfield. Rosario's not a great shortstop. Jimenez is not a great hitter. So them playing shortstop second base is a waste. It should be Jimenez at shortstop. Palacios is, again, an infielder throwing in the outfield. And again, when they're not playing Owen Miller, they're finally playing Naylor first base. Tigers. Robbie Grossman-Bonas. He's not a leadoff hitter, nor is he a right fielder. Okay, he's not a world's greatest outfielder. Harold Castro, super utility man. Playing him in the outfield is a waste. Having him bat leadoff is somewhat of a waste when you got other guys who got better speed. And again, they got enough power guys, should not be batting third or wasting a DH spot on him. But hey, leading off is better than him batting third. Him playing shortstop, that's his actual position. And Willie Castro, it's one thing to throw him in left field because you've had some injuries in the outfield and your infield is set. But center field is not his position. Right field, that's even more of a stretch. And then they called up Roger Clemens' son, who's an infielder by trade, and he played the outfield. He made one great defensive play and then one bad one. Yeah, again, throwing infielders in the outfield, that's what Tigers are doing. If you have Harold Castro, Willie Castro, and Clemens, like, this is an infielder full of outfielders. And again, Michael Fulmer's best value as a starter. He's not really getting that much value as a reliever. Cubs. Morel. He's an infielder by trade. I'm glad he had this story getting to the big leagues. But he is not a center fielder. I don't want to see him in the outfield because I've seen him make some bad plays. Rivas is a first baseman. You should be able to play him at first base if you're throwing Wisdom at first baseman at third base and you're DHing Schwindel. So at least you're at least only having a guy at third base. Okay? Hat playing center field, I like that because he's had a lot of career innings in center field at the beginning of his career. Patrick Wisdom actually played some first base, even though, again, they're playing him out of position. But again, Wilson Contreras is a middle of the order hitter, not a number 2 hitter. And Jonathan Simmons, you signed him and Jonathan Villar to play shortstop. I know Nico Horner's young and you want to do it, but like, there's no value in playing Simmons at second base. He did play shortstop a bit because this is what happens with Addison Russell. This is what happens with Starlin Castro. This is what happened with Javi Baez. You move them to other positions, it just loses their value there. Then the White Sox, my favorite team. This is the last thing. Andrew Vaughn, in a game I went to, single-handedly had 5 runs driven in. So you need to play this guy every day. You should not be batting with the bottom of the lineup. So, okay, you're batting him second. But when Robert was hurt, he should be batting third. If Robert's back, put Robert third, and you can put Vaughn second. I would personally put Vaughn either 5th or 6th because Abreu's cleanup, and it all depends on if Eloy is healthy or you have Gavin Sheets ahead of him or Grandal. Okay? Josh Harrison batted second once. I'm like, good. I know he hasn't hit all year, but he's a speed contact guy. The Sox lost a DH in one game. Gavin Sheets and Vaughn both playing the outfield at the same time. That is fine by me if you are DHing Jake Berger so you can have his bat in the lineup. But you should not have Vaughn and Sheets both in the outfield. And one should be a DH and one should be in the outfield. Grandal leading off was one of the dumbest decisions ever because he's having a horrible offensive year. Until he starts hitting, you need to bat him at the bottom of the lineup. Jake Berger batted cleanup. That's a little bit too high for me, but it's better than him batting ninth because he's been good offensively since he got called up. I never want to see Adam Engel, my favorite Sox player, Gold Glove outfielder, or Leor Garcia, the super utility man, batting sixth. Leor Garcia batted leadoff once now that Tim Anderson's hurt. That's what he was before Tim Anderson ever showed up. He should, if you're going to play Leor Garcia or Danny Mendick, try to tell him at the top of the lineup. Don't want to see Jet Pollock batting leadoff because he hasn't been leading off in a long time, and he also hasn't had the greatest offensive season for the White Sox. And Luis Robert, I'm glad he's back, but keep him in the third spot. Let Abreu bat cleanup. That's just where it makes the most sense. And I know that you're saying, well, Grandal's had a bad offensive year, so you want to give Reese McGuire more bats, but he's not having a great offensive year. And I like the guy. But again, wasting a DH spot on him when you could DH Sheets, Vaughn, Jake Berger, Jose Abreu, or even Grandal based on reputation, or Moncada, I would do that, okay? But thanks again for listening to Week 8 of the MLB Observations for the 2022 season. I'm Radar from the Radar Entertainment Blog. See you guys next time.